Oh.
Okay, Saffron, they're just a little behind on their paperwork. You've been cleared. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. You want to do this right now?
Sure, if you've got the time.
I do. Come on, let's head down to the sheriff's office.
The sheriff's office?
You get what I mean.
Okay. I'll,
The pups, the doggies.
there are so many dogs in town.
Yeah. Turkey leg, there's jerky leg, there's honey barks, there's,
Honey barks.
honey barks, yeah.
Hmm.
The one that is blonde. Honey barks. That's Willow there. Hey, Willow.
Let me take you to the sheriff's office. He says you'll get what's happening.
Saffron, you come from well, I don't want to assume anything. What kind of history do you come from? Like, how long you been in the crossing?
Wait, well, I've been in the crossing for about 6 months now, I think.
Okay.
But I've been in the US for about 6 years. So maybe 6.5 now.
What'd you do before you were a reporter?
Well, before I was a reporter, I did a whole lot of nothing.
Okay.
A lot of hunting, treasure hunting, that sort of thing. At least while I was here.
Did you find any treasure?
Nothing too valuable. Found card decks and stuff like that.
Sure. Welcome to the sheriff's office.
They're calling this the office.
Yeah, it's not my idea. But back when I was a deputy and then a senior deputy, I served under a sheriff named Boyd Banks. And Sheriff Banks would, whenever he conducted one of these interviews, he'd say, "Come on up to my office." And he would.
I think I did meet Sheriff Banks. He was quite kind to me.
Really? Okay. You had a different experience with him than many people did.
Well, I think when I briefly met him, I was being hunted by Tommy Two Snakes, and he brought me down here to get me away from him.
Yeah. I mean, he was always, even when he was gruff and sort of like sometimes rude, straightforward, he always cared about protecting the people that needed protecting.
Well, I'd hope so.
And
I imagine that's why a lot of people get into this line of work. At least I'd hope that.
why are you interested in this line?
Well, I got into trouble when I was younger, and the law were the first people to stop and help me pick up the pieces and try and get me going in the right direction. A lot of bad stuff happened to me back then, and I was desperate and scared. And there was a few who really made sure to come through for me and try and help me. And there was those that tried to hurt me. But on the other, I essentially went to help other people, keep other people from being victimized the way I was back then. And the law was in the position to do it, and whether they did it or didn't depended on who was wearing that badge. So I do want to help people, and I believe that oftentimes that help starts with showing them the error of their ways, give them the chance to reflect, punish them for their wrong actions, so that they can see that there is consequences when they've been evading them. Not exactly the most straightforward answer, but
That's all right. Makes sense. Do you think law is still the best option for enforcing that kind of order, protection?
Well, I mean, they're not always there exactly to protect, right? They're there to uphold the law, but hopefully, when the laws are upheld, it does protect people, protects innocent people from getting hurt. They're the best option that we've got for doing that. They try and do their best to get to the bottom of things, get to the truth of the matter, so that the right people are being dealt with.
Okay. I'm wondering if you could define the word justice for me. What does that mean?
I'm not quite sure if I know the dictionary definition exactly.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Because every person I bring up here has a different one. So I'm wondering what your definition is.
Well, boy, I think justice would be showing people the error in their ways and trying to make it right some way. It's not always possible, but again, it's at least making sure that someone is paying the consequence towards whatever grievance occurred. And I think that's sort of it. I feel like it's a complicated concept.
Oh, it is. And that's why I asked that question. What, if anything, is the difference between justice and revenge?
Well, justice doesn't... Revenge is usually people going after someone to make them hurt for something that they did. And revenge is usually quite broad. People want revenge for all sorts of things, and revenge means something else to everyone else. I suppose that you could sort of define justice as a form of revenge, but it's held within the constraints of the law. Like, it's regulated.
Regulated by whom?
By the governing authorities.
Okay.
As opposed to just being whatever. I think probably the best way is that justice is not as motivated by emotion. Although, I mean, it can have emotions attached to it. Revenge is solely motivated by emotion. Justice is just about trying to do what's right, I'd say.
Now, so this isn't a right or wrong answer quiz, so just bear with me when I share this, is that I'm going to disagree with you, okay? And not I'm not saying you're wrong. Because revenge is motivated by emotion, selfishness, anger. When Boyd was sheriff, when Banks was sheriff, there's nothing he loved talking about more than justice. It was his favorite word. He would say justice. He would chew on it like it was a meal. Up at Emerald Ranch, there's a pen with 2 bulls in it. He named them Truth and Justice. He would take cadets up there, fire his gun into the air, and make them run from one end of the pen to the other end. Towards the end of his life, before he was killed by Jackson Riggs Kerrigan, I don't know what happened. He changed a little bit. He was never a bad man, but he became obsessed with justice and what it means. He wanted justice as a cold, unfeeling, calculating rebalancing of the scales. I want people to pay for things that they've done. I'm not saying he was wrong. I still cared about him a lot, and I cried when he died, you know. people ask me that question, and they do sometimes. What justice is. I think that at the root of justice there is an emotion, and I think it's love. 'Cause I think that in order to embrace an idea of a just society, where things are sort of right and balanced, you have to have love for something other than yourself. Revenge is selfish. Revenge is self-centered. It's about me feeling better for making somebody pay for what they did.
Hmm.
Justice is about making the community better, the society better, because those people are worth loving and they're worth being loved. Now that's just my opinion. I mean, that's just my definition.
No,
I'm kind
no,
of a
it's
softie.
no, it's I, I sort of look at things in a similar way, and I like that you defined it that way. Sort of goes back to what I was saying. Was people like to blame the deputies and blame the law for punishing people, for throwing them into SCA, for doing what has to be done in those situations. But to me, it would be a great disservice to the person to allow them to keep going on and doing the wrongs that they're doing unchecked. Because eventually if they haven't already, they're going to hurt someone else, and they're certainly going to end up hurting themselves. It would be a distinct unkindness to allow them to continue that way.
Yeah, I like that interpretation. I would agree with that as well. And sometimes, first of all, when you say people like to look down on deputies, you're gonna find out real quick how that's the case.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it over the many years that I've been in this country. I've seen it even back home in Scotland.
And I'm sure you have. And also, I would say that maybe you're also going to be surprised at someone who maybe you thought was a friend or someone you could trust and the way they treat you when you're wearing a badge. I've got people that I'm very close to, and I've had to make decisions that push them away. Do you know Flood, the guy who works at the gun shop here?
Aye.
I got to pick him up today from Sisika to release him.
Well, they've let him out.
It's not always easy. It's not always simple.
No.
I can't say I agree with the charge that he was given.
I mean, he still did make a choice.
He did.
Right.
And I mean, manslaughter is a serious crime.
I mean, someone paid the ultimate price for that choice, and he's gonna have to live that for the rest of his life.
But meanwhile, I picked him up from Sisika, got on a boat, took him back over, and I pulled into the harbor, and Michael and a bunch of other folks who were friends with him were there. And they were super happy to see him, and I was happy about that. They all went off to celebrate. And nobody thought to invite me, I guess.
Aww.
And there might be other reasons there, I don't know. But the badge is sometimes a bridge and it's sometimes a wall.
No, I mean, Aye.
Sorry, what's that?
No, I was just I know. I'm sorry to hear that too.
Well, I mean, that's just the job.
No, I know, but you can still look at something, and though that's the way it is, doesn't mean it's always right. It's okay to say it's not.
Yeah. Now you sound like Michael. So, as a cadet, your responsibility is to learn the basics of law enforcement. You're going to be shadowing deputies, senior deputies and sheriffs.
Mm-hmm.
Senior deputies and sheriffs are going to offer you feedback with our internal system. So they'll be submitting reports, making recommendations, giving their impressions on the job you've done. You want to do ride-alongs with as many different senior deputies and sheriffs as possible. Because if you just do it with one senior deputy, over and over and over, we don't get a varied perspective.
No, that makes
Right.
sense. Aye.
So anytime you're around, you're free to do a ride along. You send us an anon usually. Say,
Okay.
looking for a ride along, and someone will contact you soon. While you're on those ride alongs, our priority is to keep you safe. So if there's any violence, any sort of danger, you're expected not to engage, not to do anything, not rope, not tackle, nothing.
Okay.
And in many cases, whoever's leading this ride along will tell you that you'll send an anon and say, this is what's happening. You know what I mean?
No,
And
that
sort
makes
of a-
sense.
Right. We don't want you getting hurt. Now, we've had cadets in the past who have engaged in the fight, who have decided they want to participate, and they were kicked out of the program, like pronto, So, that being said, you will also be trained on things like riding formation, using a rope, following orders. The best thing that you can do during this process is to follow orders, be respectful, be responsible. The worst thing you can do is to show an attitude and, tell someone fuck off,
No, I can't imagine that would go off too well.
No, it doesn't.
Especially when I'm looking for feedback from those people.
Right, exactly. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, the other thing is I know that you work for the newspaper. We tell this to everyone.
I'm gonna have to let them know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but you will be exposed to information,
Oh, aye. Mm-hmm.
and that is expected to be kept confidential. We've got ongoing cases. We've got things that the public just can't know about for their own safety at this point.
Aye.
And we ask that you would not share that with anyone, especially if it endangers somebody else. So, as long as you agree to all those things, I think that you would be a welcome addition to the cadet program.
Aye, no, I do agree.
Okay.
This is something I've been pursuing for a very long time. And
Why now?
why now?
Yeah.
Because I finally got a notice saying I could seek for an interview.
Have you been applying for a long time?
I probably applied 3 to 4 months ago.
Wow. Why do you think? I mean, I don't want you to speculate, but what was the holdup?
Apparently they just didn't need me as much as they claim to need deputies. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I haven't been in trouble, I haven't made anyone angry until actually very recently.
Sure.
At least as far as as far as our lawmen go.
I guess not. Well, then I just need to submit some paperwork and get that process started.
Alright.
I would offer you a ride along tonight if I weren't headed directly to bed after this.
Well, I do have some things to finish wrapping up before I begin that part. So
Sure.
hopefully maybe tomorrow.
Right. Now, I do want to apologize. The gallows here are a little bit squeaky. So
Aye,
if you don't watch your step, like if I go this way, I hear squeaking.
I think
You know?
part of it might be that we're standing on the trapdoor there.
Oh, I
And,
bet you're right. Okay,
you know,
yep.
I was sort of tapping my foot because I'm just a wee bit nervous having an interview.
Squeaky,
So,
squeaky.
aye, squeaky.
So- I will move that forward. Congratulations and welcome. Anytime you want to report to sheriff, you're allowed to, but if you ever want to come out to the desert and join me for a ride along, that'd be swell.
Alright, could I actually take your telegram number?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, Anon's always a good way to do it, but if you want my personal number,
Okay. I find
It's,
lots of times when I put stuff through Anon, I never hear back.
especially if we're overwhelmed and swamped.
And I feel like you happen a lot, so I understand. But
Mine is Victor Bravo 605.
alright, I've got that down. VB605.
That's it.
Alright, thank you very much.
Hey,
I
you're quite welcome.
do look forward to working with you.
Yeah, so do I. All right, you have a nice night.
Hi,
Just
you
gonna
as
go
well.
sleep somewhere. Yes.
I
Okay,
won't
probably go sleep in the office.
hold you up too long. Good night.
All right. Good night, Saffron. Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you. Yep, it's been a really long road for that. Kryptonic, thank you so much for those bits.